Good morning. This is Tom Martin with 1% Health, and today I'd like to show you how to make fermented vegetables. There's a lot of reasons to ferment your own vegetables. The first is to preserve them and their nutritional value, and the second is for their probiotic value that's in it, which is excellent for gut health. Every culture in the world has had some sort of fermented vegetables. The Germans have sauerkraut, Koreans kimchi, and the Indians their various chutneys. The probiotic cultures that are in fermented vegetables have many health benefits, getting your gut to work properly. It can prevent against both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. It is excellent with digestive problems such as Crohn's disease, colitis, IBS, and also most skin diseases originate from poor functioning gut, such as psoriasis, eczema, and acne. The first thing I want to show you is that you're going to need to begin lactofermentation in vegetables is to get whey. Whey can be derived from yogurt. This is yogurt that I have made. All you need to do is get like a coffee mug. I generally use an unbleached coffee filter, although you can use a paper towel if you want. And just put it over a coffee mug. Secure it with a rubber band. A little more gracefully than I'm doing right here. And scoop the yogurt in. And you're just going to let it sit. And as it sits there, the whey will filter through the filter into the bottom of the glass, and we'll use that later. You can use a variety of vegetables. You always want to start off with cabbage, either head cabbage like this or napa, which is used in kimchi, and celery. And the reason is both have a very high moisture content, which we will extract and use for the brine. To this I also add carrots, onion. Sometimes I will add daikon or other root vegetables. I also add garlic and sometimes ginger. Ginger has a lot of healing properties as well. I do want to point out that there is a difference between naturally fermented vegetables and pickled vegetables. Many of the brands of sauerkraut and kimchi in the store have been pickled and therefore do not contain the probiotic culture. It's best to make your own, or if you do shop for these items, look for raw or unpasteurized. For sauerkraut, there is a brand called Boobies that is quite good, and that's something that you can try. I usually use a jar about this size, which is roughly a quart. For a jar this size, it's going to be about a half a head of cabbage, 3 or 4 ribs of celery, 2 or 3 stalks of carrot, some onion, some garlic. Again, this isn't an exact science. Just kind of throw stuff together, whatever works for you. When the jar is full, the jar is full. Okay. We get here, I slice the cabbage fairly thin, and then I'll chop it even further. You want it to be bite-sized. So in something like this is just kind of coarsely how I'm going to chop, and just keep adding it to a large bowl as you get your vegetables together. Okay, we've chopped up all our vegetables. We have them in a bowl. And now we want to start extracting the liquid. Try to use either natural Celtic sea salt or Himalayan salt. To a batch about this size, we want to sprinkle about 2 tablespoons of the salt. Again, none of this is really exact. After you sprinkle it in, just use your hands and just gently toss the vegetables so they are coated. And then we're going to leave this sit for an hour and let the salt do its work to begin extracting the liquid from the cabbage, and especially the cabbage and the celery. Once that's done, we will start packing it into our jar and start fermentation. Okay, it's been an hour. Our vegetables have been sitting in the salt. Start off with clean hands. You got to get involved in this. And we're just going to start squeezing the vegetables to rend out the liquid. Just kind of do this as long as you can. You'll see the brine start to form in the bottom of the pan. You're also kind of breaking down the vegetables a little bit, and that's fine. And it's not like you're trying to get all of the liquid out, because as we pack it into the jar, we'll get even more. So once we do that a little bit, set it aside, take our jar. Now normally I have what's called a muddler. It's like a wooden dowel, and you can get them at specialty food stores. My uncle also makes them. And as you put the vegetables into the jar, use the muddler to kind of help pack it down. And you want the vegetables to be tight. It helps in fermentation. And also, as you're packing them down, it will extract more of the brine. Between the packing down and the brine that's left in the bowl, which we will pour over this, one of the objectives is that the brine level be higher than the vegetables. And sometimes your vegetables, as they sit, will rise, and you can actually add a weight in here to keep them down. If for some reason you do not have enough brine to cover the vegetables, just put in what you have and add a little more water. Okay, we're getting kind of full here. I don't want to overpack this. Pull that in there. Bring it up to the top. Now, remember the yogurt that I started with at the very beginning. Here it is. Remove the filter. And as you look down in here, this is whey. So I'm going to pack that in. Just pour it in. You don't really need to stir it in or anything. And then we'll seal the jar. You want to kind of keep this in a warm place for about 7 days. By warm, I mean between 70 and 80 degrees. If it's winter and you're doing this and it's too cool in your house, one very good place is to put it into the oven and just turn the oven light on. Now, one reason, again, as I talk about the probiotic bacteria that's in this and how good it is for you and why you want to ferment vegetables, 1/3 cup of this vegetable mixture a day will give you more probiotic bacteria than an entire bottle of 100 capsules of probiotic tablets. So anyway, after you have it sit for 7 days and ferment, just put it in the refrigerator and enjoy. They'll last pretty much indefinitely. If you've made a mistake and the brine level does not stay above the vegetables, you might get kind of a white mold that forms. From what I understand, it's not dangerous. I would just scoop it off and eat what's below. But in general, try to keep your liquid level high. So thank you. Again, I'm Tom Martin. This is on my website is 1percenthealth.com. And the recipe for this is also in my book, Just Do This One Thing, A Guide to Chronic Good Health, which is available on Amazon or from my website. Thank you.